Hi everyone, my name is Garen. Welcome to Wine Library AU. Thank you for tuning back to episode 2. So we're doing a continuation of our introductory wines to beginners and to females. So we've gone through our first 3, so now we'll get on to the second 3. So we've got another medium sweet red, a sweet white and a dessert wine. So we'll start off with our other medium sweet wine. So we've got the Brown Brothers Dolcetto and Syrah, and this is a very fruity wine. It's a very popular wine company in Australia. It's been around for a long time, and they specialise in making your sweeter wines, and they do it very well. So with this kind of wine, the grape is a very berry flavour, so you can imagine blueberry and raspberry, and it's just got a little bit of bubbles to it. This wine is something that you can pair with any food quite easily, or you can drink it on its own, as it's done here. With this wine, it's 10.5% alcohol, so it is getting lighter on the scale, and then with that less alcohol, it also helps to keep the more fruity flavour to the wine. So if we open it up, and you'll hear when you open it, just like a can of Coke, it just has that little pop of gas that opens. So we'll put a little bit in. And I think when I started first having wines, like this was probably the first red wine that I really enjoyed before my palate developed. So it was a very easygoing one. So that's this one here. So if you have a look at the colour, it is also a very light red. It's a more a lighter colour than you expect with like your Merlot. If you give it a little swirl, and have a smell. So you can smell that. It does hit you with a bit more of an alcoholic smell when you do smell it. You can smell that berry. Okay, so we'll give it a little swirl, we'll have a sip. Straight away you get that juicy blueberry flavour. You get that real like ripe fruit, so it's really sweet. You can taste the sugar on your tongue, and then the bubbles come through and it sort of balance out the flavour. It gets a little bit bitter afterwards, so we'll have another sip. It's a very easygoing wine. I'll give this one a 94 out of 100. It is very popular. It does taste a bit more like a wine than compared to this one, I would say. So you do get a good introduction into that wine flavour, that wine profile. So overall, very nice, very smooth as well. Okay. So now we'll go into our sweet wines, which, you know, as we used to say in the liquor shop, you know, this kept us in a job, because everyone come in and buy this kind of wine. So most popular, it's for people who are new to wine. So we've got the Brown Brothers Moscato. Moscato has always been a sweeter wine traditionally, and it has 3.2% alcohol, so it's a very light in alcoholic, 5.5%, sorry. So it's a lot lighter in alcohol. So it is kind of dangerous because you can almost think of it like a soft drink. With this one, you get the smell of musk, and just imagine like a big bowl of grapes that have all been crushed. You get that real intense grape smell and flavour. Perfect wine to be introduced on, and I've introduced it to countless people for a beginning wine. So we'll get our white wine cup, and now for today's one, it does have a white one, but there's also a pink colour. So the flavour is very similar, but a little bit different. I think the pink one is a bit more berry. This one is a bit more like green grapes. So, but this is the traditional classic one, so we'll taste this one. So also with this one, it has a little bit of bubbles. So when you open it, you'll hear that little pop like a soft drink. Yep. And straight away you get hit with that green grapes. Okay, so we've got our Brown Brothers Moscato. So if you have a look in you can see the little bubbles there. So that's just how the wine is. It does have a little bit of bubbles in the wine traditionally. Have a smell. Yeah, it just smells really nice. This is the kind of wine that, if you could pour it all over your body and smell like that, that's what you're going to smell like. So let's have a little swirl, have a smell. Very, very sweet, but also refreshing. I think, like, in terms of a Moscato, this is one of the best ones on the market. So I'd give this one, for the Moscato, perfect 100 out of 100. Could not recommend this Moscato enough. It's out of all the ones I've tried, Brown Brothers does the best. So this comes in a white and pink color, and both are equally as good as each other. So I highly recommend this one. And then we will go to our last one, which is our dessert wine. So this is our Tempest 2, Beatrice Semillon, and this one comes from New South Wales. It's your traditional cork. Now dessert wines are a bit unique because compared to other ones, dessert wines are the last ones to get picked. So actually what you find is because they're picked late, a lot of the wines spoil, but there's a few grapes that are extremely ripe and then they have such an intense flavour that you don't get from any of the other wines. So you get a really extreme flavour in this one. It is very sweet, and in Australia this was perfect wine for bridal parties. So a lot of people who are getting married would come in to buy this kind of wine because it's a wine that it's not too strong in alcohol, 9%. So it's, you can share glasses with all your friends, and it's got a very nice flavour. You can easily drink it all, perfect to share. So I'll show you how to open it. So with a cork like this, we need one of these, and to open it, very easy. You get the sharp part, you put that into the middle here, and then you put it down, and then you just spin it. And what you will see as you spin it down, I might have to hold it a bit tighter. There we go. So as you spin it, you'll see the arms start to go up, like so. And then you just use the arms to pull the cork out. It comes up. Okay, we've got the cork there, we've got the wine. So let's have a try. Oops. So we've got our Tempest 2 dessert wine. So with this kind of wine, and any dessert wine, like ice wine, made the same way, they only get a few drops of juice out of every grape, so you get that really intense flavour. When you taste this kind of wine, expect to get a very strong apricot and dried fruit, and sort of like an orange marmalade sort of flavour. Also, as you can see the colour, if we compare them to the Moscato, it's a more yellow pale colour, whereas the Moscato is a very light white sort of colour. And the longer you store this wine, the darker the colour will get. So this one here is a 2013, and you can store this wine for up to 10 years. And as long as you don't keep it in somewhere warm, just keep it somewhere cool and you can keep it for 10 years, no problem. The other kind of wines, typically you will expect 2 to 5 years is ideal. Anything more than 5 years, maybe it starts to lose its perfect flavour. So these wines are designed to be consumed quite quickly. So if we go back to the dessert wine, you can see the colour here, a very, almost like an apple juice sort of colour, very pale. So when you smell it, yeah, you can smell that apricot flavour straight away, marmalade, citrus, a little bit of honey. So we'll give it a little swirl. Really good. This is the flavour is, you know, amazing. I would score this one already like 100 out of 100. I think it's like a great expression of what a dessert wine is. You get that real sweetness, that real fruitiness, but no sourness or bitterness. Sometimes this kind of wine you do get a bit of a bitter aftertaste, but this one doesn't have it at all. So it's done absolutely perfectly, exactly what you expect. So you can see why this wine in particular is very popular for females at bridal parties or just at events. You can always bring this one along, and you know, people will always enjoy it, especially if you're new to wine. It's a very good flavour to have. So you know, so this rounds up our introduction to wines for beginning and for females. We've gone through our sweet wines, to the medium sweet, to the dry. So depending on the flavour that you like, these sweeter wines are perfect for spicy food, like Sichuan food. In Australia, we would exactly match these with that kind of food. The medium ones you can pair with like steak or lamb, and then the drier ones as well. So it really comes down to your preference, whether you like a sweeter flavour, or if you don't like as sweet, you have this, or if you like dry, you have that. So it comes down to that. And also, the basic way you know whether you should pair what food to what wine is red wines always go with red meat, so like your lamb, your beef, and white wine will always go with white meat, like chicken and fish. Of course, you know, that's not a hardened rule, but that's always a good rule of thumb. So, you know, rarely would you sort of want to pair like a white wine with beef, because beef has a really strong flavour, so it tends to be drowned out by that flavour of the meat. So you would have a red wine to match it better. Alright, thanks for watching everybody, and don't forget to follow Wine Library AU.